Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. Today we're taking a look at the Rocktron Gainiac 2 preamp, which came out around 2005. And to me, it kind of looks like they got Guy Fieri and Vince McMahon together and said, what do you guys want in a rack preamp? And that's where we got these graphics from, and that's where we got this glowing tube compartment. Except it's not the tube that's glowing in there, it's actually a pair of orange LEDs, which is kind of hard to see, but I'll put a photo up. So yeah, I'm immediately suspicious whether this tube actually does anything in here. But first, I need to make a pun. So here's a track with the Gainiac that I like to call Gainiac. Puns aside, let's actually have a listen to what this thing does. You have two channels in here, a distortion channel and a clean channel, but with a name like Gainiac, you can imagine all the focus is devoted to the gain channel. So that's where we'll start. I'm in drop A on my JP7 on the bridge pickup. I've got the tube gain control all the way down, the scoop control at a minimum. I'm fairly certain the bottom, top, and scoop controls are just active EQ controls. As we will hear in there, the scoop is just backwards. So this is what it sounds like at the moment. So a very nasal mid-focus distortion sound in there. Sounds very 80s to me, and they're basically the settings I use for the lead on that track. Of course, I smothered it in a bunch of pitch detune, delay, and reverb in post-production. Let's keep playing with this tube gain control, because basically you get it a little bit higher than here and it doesn't really get that much more noticeably distorted. Alrighty, let's play around with the scoop control. Like I said, this thing came out in 2005. It is kind of peak Scoopy guitar tone era. Let's do it. So you can hear the range on the EQ controls there is really, really extreme. Kind of reminds me of the PV Rockmaster, which I know has an active EQ, so that's why I suspect this is an active EQ. But once you get the top control past about, what is that, 2 or 3 o'clock, it's crazy, crazy fizzy. And when you bring that bottom control down past about 11 o'clock, there's almost no low end in there, which I guess is kind of cool. You know, if you were doing nu metal intros or rock intros, you always want that kind of filtered bottom sound. And then bringing the top control down, again, it's really extreme, so you have to be careful with it. It can get way too smooth. All right, let's hear it on the clean channel. I'll try a couple of different guitars after this one. This is the middle pickup on this guitar. I'm fairly certain it taps the pickups. There's no gain control on here, so you're basically just stuck with the level of gain you get on here. We've got a bottom, a middle, and a top control on here. Let's try it out. Where's my D string? Here it is. Let's hear it with the Strat and some post effects now. Very, very clean with the Strat. And of course, when you put a whole bunch of grease on something like that, it works really well. It does miss an input gain control, I think, and it would be cool to pair with some kind of really clean compressor, but it's a very, very neutral, some may say sterile clean sound. Let's go back over to the gain channel, and I'll just try to get some crunchy tones out of it with the Les Paul on the bridge pickup. We'll start with gain low, scoop is all the way down, and let's just do bottom and top at their not extreme settings. It's an interesting one. The EQ is really extreme. The taper on the gain control is really extreme as well. There's no MIDI or anything like that on there. The clean channel is really basic. It does sound a little bit like a JMP1 to me. It also does remind me of the times I've played around with running something like a Metal Zone into a power amp and playing around with the EQ. The Metal Zone, you know, infamously has a very powerful active EQ on it as well. And that's what it is. It's probably the okayest preamp I've tried to date. It certainly doesn't sound bad or unusable, but at the same time, I wouldn't really class it as something that I find super inspiring. And again, like, what's the tube actually doing in there? Is it really contributing anything? Could you take the tube out? Could you take those LEDs that are glowing orange out of it and still have it sound the same? A lot of questions to be asked, but I will leave it there. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And if you want to support the channel, there are links in the video description. And also a massive shout out to Mr. Brian Hook, patron saint of the channel, for sending over this preamp for me to check out. Send Brian some love in the comments as well. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.